September the 22nd, 2022. Guys, you're looking at satellite images tonight. It is 7:25 p.m. Central Time of the Atlantic and the Caribbean. Several storms out there. We've got a monster that's about to cross Bermuda. Thank goodness this thing is pulling away from the continental U.S., but it's going to plow into St. John's and that area. So all of you guys pay very close attention to this. And I'm going to be updating it, but keep your eyes on the local news. Here is the problem that's about to come into the Gulf of Mexico. If you look at it very closely before the sun sets, you can see the rotation is very well defined at the surface. That's telling us what's about to happen. The Caribbean, especially the northwestern Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, has not been cooled off by any major storms. This heat is going to be a big factor. Now, this is Hurricane Fiona. I want to point out a couple things here. 130 mile per hour Category 4 hurricane. You saw the intensity in that eye. That would be another Michael or Katrina if it was coming in. But where it says lows coming up into the very northeast here, notice that first one is still 110 miles per hour at 2 a.m. Saturday. 2 p.m. Saturday, 85 miles per hour, even though it's just saying a low. Usually when it's a low, it will be 40 miles an hour or less. But just to let you know, when it drops from a Cat 3 as it's passing Bermuda and moves northeast, it's still going to be at a Cat 2 hurricane speed. New models are out. This was at 8 p.m. 26 minutes ago. The Canadian model and the Navy model, the purple line, the green lines, they are starting to intersect. That's what I'll watch for every year, and you guys that's seen the channel, you know that. Where? Over Miami, Florida. That's up into Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, that area, the Lake Okeechobee. And because this thing's going to change, you guys in the Keys, man, you better watch this thing. Look at that. This is the Navy model. First, you're going to see Fiona's a Cat 4. Luckily, it's not going to, maybe won't be a devastating hit on Bermuda, but it's going to be strong. September 27th, this is where the second storm is. Let's back this up in time. Still, September 27th, showing you it's coming off the coast of Cuba on the 26th. Soon as it gets into the Straits of Florida, where the classic book was written, The Old Man in the Sea, was written about that area. This thing strengthens. It weakens slightly over Cuba, but check that out. Right up the Keys. This is the Canadian model. What does it do? Skates the coast and comes into South Carolina. Could be a big flooding problem. We're going to have to watch the track. That will determine this. Also, I want to look at the GFS, or the Global Forecast System, simply because it will give us 3 different possibilities. There's more than that, but after it comes into the Gulf, the other one could be very important. Again, you're seeing come in the 27th of September, skating right up into across the Everglades, Lake Okeechobee, and I'm going very slow here. Not very far off the coastline anywhere as it comes in just north of the Florida border with South Carolina. And look at your timestamp as I back it up. September 30th, it's come out of Florida. It's warming over the Gulf Stream. Here's the Global Forecast System. This is our western model, or the further west model. Check this out. What it's showing is and what they do is put different things into these models. But this one is not coming across Florida, and it's barely touching Cuba, basically going right in between the Yucatan and Cuba, which doesn't weaken it. So when it gets into the Gulf, it just continues to strengthen. Now, guys, I want to say this also. So many of you have pre-ordered the CD, and it looks like by Monday I'm going to have the last 2 tracks on there fully mastered. I'm really taking my time working from daylight to dark on the other things I have to do, plus that. But Ghost Town and Backroads have been mastered through the Dolby system. A couple others are on here tonight. I want you to go there and check them. I could play them here, but it just does not do justice. I'm going to link to the SoundCloud, our SoundCloud channel, which is Aurora the guitarist, And if you go to bpearthwatch.com, you can click on that and I'll show you. And the quickest, easiest way to get there is something you're all familiar with, and that's bpearthwatch.com. Right here in the top left, you can click on Aurora, the guitarist, and that's the new CD, guys. It's going to be here in a couple of weeks. Click on that, check it out. Now, this is what you're going to go to when you click there, Aurora, the guitarist. Most of you seen it. It's called earthwatchmusic.com. You can scroll down. All of the songs that are downloadable are not here yet. There's only so many hours in the day. I also have a farm, and we're working hard on in the studio too. But if you scroll down below that and look at the playlist, there's 7 mastered Dolby mastered tracks here. One of them you've never heard. A lot of them you've heard before. Some of them you've heard the raw cuts. All 7 of these songs are mastered. Now, Ghost Town, no one's ever heard. I want you to go there and check that out, guys. If you scroll back up here, you've got 3 songs. And if you click here, it says the Guitarist Aurora CD pre-order now. Click there. Many of you did the same thing with the older CD called Stratosphere. And it took us a couple weeks when we started pre-ordering on that one. This may not take quite so long because we learned lessons from the transfer of files during the first CD. Go ahead, and if you want to, and like I said, I don't blame you. I prefer to have a CD because, especially a musical CD, I can, if I'm traveling, going back and forth to work or whatever, I can drop that CD in my vehicle and just kick back. I'll put it, and you can drop it into your computer, burn you some copies for your car so you don't scratch it up, and put that one back in the case. It's going to come in a really cool full color binder with the full credits and everything like that. But guys, I appreciate all the orders, and I think what it says to me is that you guys are appreciating the extra time, the extra quality in the music that we're seeing on this particular CD. We're watching, you watch, guys. The storm coming in by the end of this month is going to be something we've got to pay very close attention to. Heads up, be safe.